All right, guys, welcome to the WrestlingRumors.net Raw review. With me is Lady Nexus 13, Sam Daley herself, the First Lady of WrestlingRumors.net. I am Adam Daley. Follow me on Twitter at AdamDaley13. Before we get to Raw, I'm going to address two things. First, happy Father's Day to any fathers out there. Hope everybody got to celebrate Father's Day weekend.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all.
And two, we like to let you guys know that anybody that watches the show, we listen, we pay attention, and something came to my attention that I thought was funny because they said they really loved the show and couldn't wait to see you tonight, and just really hoped I ditched the Muse jacket that I've been wearing recently that I was going to really wear.
Haters.
Well, because I'm not a suit guy. I'm not a suit and tie guy, and honestly, I own 2 button-up shirts, and you guys have already seen them multiple times. So, now, however, Mark, from Aberdeenshire, Scotland, the one thing I will say is that I respect you. I have a lot of friends in Scotland. So, for this episode, I went with the Scottish national jersey. There was actually, fun fact, given to us by one of our good friends from Scotland, WrestleMania 28 weekend when we got married, as was the Punk picture. Guys, we don't leave this up because we're big CM Punk fans. We leave this up because it was actually given to us in WrestleMania, or at WrestleMania, by one of our friends from Scotland. They just said, here you go. Here's our gift to you. That's why we leave it up. There's a lot of significance in everything that we do with this show, and there's a lot of friends over in Scotland. So, Mark, this one's for you tonight, buddy. Sam, before we get into anything else, what did you overall think about Raw tonight?
I don't know. I thought it was okay. It was kind of entertaining, but dull at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how I would describe tonight's Raw.
Lackluster.
So simplistically. Lackluster. It was okay, but it was lackluster.
Yeah, I think lackluster's the best term.
The crowd was kind of dull for most of it.
Yeah, oh yeah. But do you blame them?
Not really.
Okay. All right, let's get into the show. First, it was Raw. This is June 22nd, 2015. Indianapolis, Indiana was Suplex City tonight. Raw kicks off with Brock Lesnar getting a huge face pop. Obviously, your new #1 contender for Seth Rollins' WWE Championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Him and Paul Heyman come out. They cut a video package basically showing why Brock Lesnar was suspended. I instantly remembered and just started thinking about all the Michael Cole shoe references that people were making in memes and stuff like that. But they showed the video package. Paul Heyman obviously talked about Brock Lesnar being back, being put in the focal point again. Great promo by Paul Heyman. And then had to inform us that Brock Lesnar had to apologize to JBL, had to apologize to Michael Cole for his actions that night when he got suspended.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty funny that whenever Brock Lesnar went to go apologize to Michael Cole, Brian Saxon just ran. You could hear him drop the microphone and just bolt. He was just gone.
He knew to just get out. Just completely run at that point. You just completely run.
He's got some brains.
But I did like that how they had Brock Lesnar apologize. How he was basically just tossing him around.
The little neck lock, giving him noogies like a big brother. Yeah, I thought it was weird and awkward, but...
No, it was funny. No,
it was funny.
Not awkward. Funny. Very funny. But first segment, honestly, guys, it was the hype up battleground. This was Paul Heyman promo 101, selling people, putting people in the building, so to speak. I mean, that's exactly what this was. And again, anytime Heyman's on the mic, it's gold. It's
always entertaining.
All right, so next was Ambrose versus Kane. It was what it was. Basically, it's a Kane match. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a Kane match as of late. Rollins comes out, distracts Dean Ambrose, gets Kane the win. Basically, Seth Rollins now is kind of playing, let's play the make amends card with the rest of the Authority.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the theme of the entire show with the Authority angle.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that as the review goes on, so to speak. Next, we saw Primetime Players versus the... You like how I rolled it in there? Yeah. Primetime Players versus the Ascension.
I liked how they had to get that little promo in of Titus O'Neil doing that Father of the Year thing. What day was it?
It was last week, somewhere in Florida, too. Yeah, and
he did some charity event, or was it an award ceremony?
It was the award ceremony for Father of the Year. They called it like Mega Dads, something like that. And I want to give John Alba on one of our warm up shows months back, actually, or not months back, say a couple weeks back. He actually a couple pay-per-views back talked about he thought PTP was going to end up with the titles then. Or somewhere in the mix.
It wasn't that long ago.
Maybe it was Elimination Chamber. He called it. He actually thought the primetime players would come out of it. And these are all the reasons why we talked about. And the one thing I liked about this, and to make this quick, guys, PTP goes over the Ascension. Darren Young hits the gut check. That's how they win. I thought it was a good match. I thought the Ascension stepped their game up. I think that if the Ascension was repackaged, they would be a lot better.
I went in thinking that this was going to be a definite squash match, and it was. It was definitely a squash match, but it was an interesting squash match to watch.
Yes.
Because the Ascension hasn't really been that great, and they've kind of
the Ascension did get some offense in, though. In fairness, they did. They got some offense.
Like I said, it was an interesting match to watch. It wasn't just a complete squash match.
Right.
So I liked it.
Yeah, and but one thing that how you pointed out how they brought up the Dad of the Year and the Father of the Year award. All match my only and that maybe this is just me, maybe I didn't hear it, or maybe this is me just nitpicking. But the one thing that I did notice is they kept talking about how with them feuding with New Day, there was the power of positivity in the primetime players as well, and you got that power of positivity through Darren Young. He's so active in the community, and you got with Titus O'Neil being Father of the Year, and they kept hyping up active in the community. Talk about Darren Young's community. Talk about the community that he is involved in. Talk about those things. Why are you dodging that, WWE?
Okay. I can see where you're going.
That's the only... Because they were giving him a lot of praise for how much socially that he's doing. But unless I didn't hear it, they never once made mention that it happened to be in the LGBT community.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where they're going with that.
Dropping the ball, WWE. And maybe I'm over-criticizing, but at the same time, if you're going to keep talking about Dad of the Year, look at all the positive influences that he's making in that realm. That Darren Young is making in that realm, too. Breaking down barriers, breaking down stereotypes.
Well, I would think if they had a problem with mentioning the fact that he was gay, they wouldn't even bring up the fact that he was so active in
I get it, but it's one of those where
I
get it, but it's one of those where when you don't mention it, it's like
kind of taboo. Everyone knows, but it's taboo.
I feel like it's kind of a cheap shot. Like, why can't you mention it?
Okay,
it's 2015. Why can't you mention it?
I don't know. Maybe it was just I don't know.
74% of your demographic.
I don't have an answer for you because it doesn't make sense to me.
And only here's my thing, and I don't want to hear that we're protecting the kids, because your demographic, according to WWE's corporate website, your demographic is 74% 18 years of age or older, which is never why I understand the argument of why Raw was written for 10-year-old kids, because then that's why Raw isn't a good product right now, because the people that watch your show are 3/4 of them are 18 years of age or older. Anyway, so that's just something. I'm sorry, I had to get out for a second. Darren Young, I think you're a fantastic human being, and I'm proud of you. Period.
I like the way that Kofi Kingston was skipping to the ring tonight on Raw, by the way.
Oh, Kofi was great.
It was funny.
Kofi was great.
New Day was great during that match.
That was not a New Day match, but we'll get to that later on. That was primetime players in the Ascension.
I'm mixing up my tag teams right now.
Well, you know what? In fairness, I started ranting, so I would have tuned me out, too.
Michael Cole gets it mixed up all the time. I guess I'm due one every once in a while. No?
We'll just chalk it up to...
Is that not a jab at Michael Cole?
I would have tuned myself out anyway, too, so I can't blame him. Anyway, so... next we have Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. For my opinion... hard-hitting at times. It went from hard-hitting to... And I understand we're going to have that when it's a slugfest, but it was a very slowed-down pace. This was all to set up another Bray Wyatt promo. He was having a little Bray's tea party backstage, singing I'm a Little Teapot to somebody that we did not see.
Yeah, I really thought that they were going to have, like, at the very end, a little kid's hand just come on camera. That way you couldn't see who it was. It was just a little kid's hand. But I liked the way that they did it, and they panned back, and it was just an empty rocking chair.
I did, yeah.
Rocking back and forth.
I like that. And basically, he caught the attention of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns leaves the ring, and after Roman Reigns leaves the ring and heads backstage, they show the camera pan back, and that's when they show the spot of just the empty rocking chair, as if it was Sister Abigail sitting there.
But it was a little kid's rocking chair. It wasn't like his normal big one. It was like a miniature one.
Exactly.
Like a little kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
more creepy.
And the one thing that he did say that I really liked as he was speaking to this empty chair was, I told you he would come. Like, just one of those deals. But then after commercial break, Roman Reigns is backstage and finds a vigil and or shrine basically of himself, that apparently Bray Wyatt put up with the astute message of anyone but you. It was very DDP Sarah Undertaker-esque. It was very Mickie James-esque. I thought it would look like a scene from Dexter. I thought it was brilliant. It plays great into the Bray Wyatt character. I
just wanted the Psycho Stalker storyline to be me and AJ. That was the next Psycho Stalker storyline I wanted. It was always just be me and AJ, and it could just never happen.
How does this get twisted into an AJ story?
Because I love AJ, and I will twist anything into an AJ story. Okay, you know me.
You should have sent in your Tough Enough video. That's all there is.
I should have, but no, I loved it. It was kind of creepy though. I mean, him just walking back, and there was just all the different pictures, and like some of his eyes were cut out, some of the pictures were torn in half.
Yes.
It was. That's not what I was expecting whenever they showed him running backstage and like looking for Bray Wyatt.
Now,
I wasn't expecting him to come into a little weird room with lit candles.
Let me ask you a question. In a world where we favor, and the reason why I made the Dexter reference is that in a world where we favor the anti-hero, we favor the supernatural, the creepy, the more interesting characters, is this going to help or hurt Roman Reigns, this storyline?
I think it's going to help him.
It is going to help him?
I think it'll help him.
Because
it's an interesting storyline. It's already interesting to me more than... What, this is like the second most interesting storyline to me right now?
Right, but I agree. But after this, this is really mainly because of the Bray Wyatt aspect.
Well, yeah, the Bray Wyatt aspect. But Roman Reigns will get residuals off of it because he's, again... They're pushing him so hard.
Will he, though? Because let's listen to the crowd, guys. Total indifference when he's in the ring. There's total indifference. He finally got one cheer tonight, and he did some weird little, like, Harlem Shimmer, like Eddie Guerrero shake. I was like, what are you doing, man? And here's the thing. We all know that Roman Reigns can absolutely be a superstar, mega star. He needs repackaged because he's still looked at as the Shield.
Well, I think they did repackage him. It looked like he came out in something different tonight. Like a smaller vest and bigger pants or something. I don't know.
No.
It was
total new ring gear. Don't come out through the crowd. New music.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I was being sarcastic because they already did.
I know. Yeah, but like I think this is
smaller vest. Vince is like, oh, they want him to change. Smaller vest, bigger pants.
Yeah, but this is an area, and we're going to talk about Roman Reigns again, and people wonder why it's like overkill, and people wonder why there's pushback on Roman Reigns. It has nothing to do with him. It's the machine is making us hate Roman Reigns, and that's a shame because Roman Reigns is a hell of a talent. But this is another area where. For me, I'm concerned because I think he needs repackaged. If they repackaged him, he didn't come out through the crowd, new music, he sheds the Shield identity completely, and then he's his own man. Now I'm believing this storyline. Now I'll believe that. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he does that after this storyline, or maybe they don't do it at all. Because I mean, come on, it's WWE.
Please, they're gonna ride that out forever. Anyway, so now we see Seth Rollins trying to make amends with J&J Security backstage. Jamie Noble, who we're going to talk about later on in the show too, brought up the fact that Seth Rollins called them hobbits and Dumb and Dumber. Seth Rollins said, hey, but everybody loves those movies. Basically,
you can't argue with that logic. I mean,
I'm not a Dumb and Dumber fan or a Hobbit fan, so yes, I could
I wasn't really that much into Dumb and Dumber, but I'm definitely down with some hobbits.
I knew you
know what they say about guys with big feet. That's all I'm saying.
I don't, unfortunately, so...
Apparently they go on long journeys with a bunch of other men, apparently.
I'm leaving that one alone.
The plot line of The Hobbit.
I'm leaving that one alone. So after that, though, basically it doesn't look like Seth Rollins gets the seal of approval from J&J Security either. Now not that this has anything to do with Raw itself, but there was a quick promo package for the the NXT special in Japan, and it was basically Brock Lesnar, and I just had to mention this because it made me laugh so hard. Brock Lesnar, almost like he was Godzilla.
Oh yeah, the Beast in the East.
The Beast in the East. Oh, it's going to be so great.
I laughed my ass off whenever they showed that.
And can I admit, this is the one time it does not pay to live in the Eastern time zone. So all of our friends in the rest of the world, this is the one time where we absolutely envy you because 5:30 our time or 6:30, whatever time it's coming on, is going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna hurt.
I'm gonna wake up that early.
So now
we're doing it.
Yeah. So we have Neville versus Kofi Kingston up next. Basically, we have primetime players come out because New Day's on the outside. All 4 of the outside participants get get thrown out by the referee. Neville winning via the red arrow off the top rope for the pinfall again. Funniest part out of this, I thought, was because it was more clutter than it was, I think, a good match. Just New Day taking pictures on the side of the ring was absolutely
I was going to
great.
say, what was going on outside of the ring was a lot more interesting than what was going on in the ring. Yeah. Simply because New Day was just acting a fool the whole time, and it was just hilarious to me.
And then we get to another match, King Barrett versus Ryder. We get a King What's Up promo where R-Truth, or King What's Up, just talks about how... Just cutting another King versus King promo, guys. There's no way to go with this. Wade Barrett gets a quick win. That's what I got.
Yeah, it basically didn't mean anything to me. I mean, it was just... I knew it was a match that Barrett was going to win.
Advancement. I mean, obviously it needs to happen for advancement of the storyline.
Keeps
but
going on R-Truth and Wade Barrett.
It'll get cut out of the Hulu version. We know that. So then we get to the 10 o'clock hour, which is obviously going to be John Cena versus Kevin Owens, which it has been for quite some time now, unless it's opened the show. John Cena cuts a promo. Kevin Owens comes out and cuts a promo as well. Kevin Owens trying to get some heat on him by saying, I know you guys don't like foreigners, start speaking in French. John Cena then starts speaking French. I think he was speaking French, maybe Japanese. Said he was speaking American, which isn't a language, by the way. Then I think he went to, I think he went into speaking Morse code. I think he was speaking, at this point, he was speaking Klingon. He went into speaking, like, he was talking hieroglyphics out of his mouth. Sam?
Yeah, American is not a language. English is a language, but... I kind of liked whenever John Cena was, like, coming out to shame Kevin Owens. Was like, you know, you tossed around a 95-pound musician. Like, you're saying musicians can't handle themselves, and MGK's not 95 pounds, okay?
Yeah, coming somebody that's very skinny, and trust me, I am a thin rail. Yeah, he's maybe 95.
It just seemed like to me that John Cena was shitting on one of his fans, MGK, that got powerbombed simply because he is a John Cena fan.
Well, come on, they're buddies. I'm sure they.
Well, yeah, but
listen,
I mean,
it just
came off more that Cena was shitting on him than trying to shame Kevin Owens.
Well, yeah, they're friends though. I think it was just a funny line to me. So I was like, hey. I'm a little skinny tatted dude too. Shut up, dude. Making me hate you. But here's what I'll say is, out of all the Kevin Owens and John Cena stuff that we've seen lately, I don't know if this was their strongest back and forth.
No, not at all.
I mean, it was good, but
it was a good setup for Battleground because now it's going to officially be for the U.S. title.
And I think that's the thing that we're going to have to remember with these upcoming weeks too, is that we were getting pay-per-views so rapidly. So I mean, it was coming at us so quickly. And now, with the exception of the NXT special, you know, the next pay-per-view isn't until Battleground. So there is a lot of time now to fill in those gaps. So we're not going to have that quick, you know, there's the go-home show into the rundown show, or into the, you know, the Fallout show. The go-home into the Fallout. We're not having that now. So now we're having to build up. So it is going to be a little more slower paced. And that's the one thing that...
But do you think that's the mistake that they made by putting too many pay-per-views back to back to back instead of spreading them out a little bit farther?
Well...
Do you think that's WWE's only mistake?
No, because they did it as a business decision because they needed to make up some... They needed to make up some money that they lost for WrestleMania falling in Q1, not Q2. In my opinion, that's just in my opinion. That's why extra pay-per-views were thrown in. That's why, you know, they needed added subscribers. I think that when WrestleMania, and especially this year's WrestleMania, because it broke records, it falls in Q1 when typically last year's it falls in Q2.
Yeah,
now you have to make that.
You've
up.
explained that to me, but I don't really see the difference if it happens 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. That way it's spread out more. I don't really see the difference in the timing of it. Well, I understand that it's one quarter and the other quarter, but you said basically this is for the second quarter, so it's already in that second quarter, so why does it matter if it has to be fast?
Because their pay-per-view schedule for the year was already set up, so you can't shift pay-per-views down.
Oh, well then maybe don't just throw in random pay-per-views at like 2 weeks in advance, you know? If everything else is set in stone.
You're complaining about more pay-per-views, really?
No.
Now we're at this point.
Well, now they're not giving us more pay-per-views, and we have to wait till another one. And you know how we WWE fans don't like to wait for anything because we're the gimme, gimme, gimme.
The impatient
fans.
The impatient fans. All right, so now we cut to the back. Steph and Triple H. Real quick before they talk about Seth Rollins, there was a little quote in there, and this is just one of them things I always like to point out. Triple H and Steph mentioning that Owens might be getting underneath Cena's skin. It's kind of a little back and forth, and then they cut to Seth Rollins, or they cut to talking to Seth Rollins saying, screw J&J and Kane, you don't need them, and Rollins basically is like, Rollins is out there basically saying, he plans to, he's not afraid of Lesnar, and Triple H just calls his bluff. Triple H completely calls him out on it and says, no, you should be afraid, you should be scared. But you're a smart champion, and smart champions should always have a plan B, and a foolproof plan, so to speak. And what about Brock? He says, and Triple H, says that he should go out and apologize to Kane, J&J, and the rest of the Authority. And he said, what about Brock? And coming out, maybe interfering, and it was bottom line. How bad do you want the family or band back together?
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this. Are we already at the end? No? We're just at that backstage segment?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was I saw it coming. I don't know. I don't really see... It was just another Authority promo like the others had been earlier on in the night. Yep. Seth Rollins sucking ass. Kissing ass, not sucking ass. I'm thinking of Rosa right now. We'll get to that in a little bit. Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah, why not? Well, yeah, I guess now we are. Go on.
But no, I just thought it was like the other Authority promos. It was like everything. It was okay, but it wasn't. It was lackluster, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
That's all. It was predictable. It was what I saw coming with the storyline, but.
Yeah, but we knew it was good. I mean, it's something we knew. But again, just planting seeds. It's again, guys, we're in that slow burning storyline, but type of deal. Then we see the Bellas versus Tamina and Naomi. Not much to really talk about in here, other than the ref throwing like an illegal hip check on Tamina.
Dive.
Yeah, straight up took Tamina out. Which when she's coming back from injury, that's the greatest thing you could do. Nikki Bella getting the pinfall off of a rack attack. Sam, anything?
No.
Okay, cool. Then a Terminator Genesis commercial airs, or so we thought, because Roman Reigns was in it, and now it's a Terminator commercial randomly with Roman Reigns. And WWE, do you see why we can't stand it? Is when your passionate fan base says quit forcing it down our throats, do you see why we get upset?
Especially with Triple H coming out as the Terminator at WrestleMania. You would think if they were going to mesh anybody with the Terminator commercial, it would be Triple H. Why it was Roman Reigns absolutely makes no sense. I was so confused when that was on. I was like, is this an actual WWE promotional thing, like for Roman Reigns?
Repackage him.
But nothing.
Please repackage him. If you're not going to turn him, at least repackage him, please. That's the only way he's going to get over. It's the only way. You're going to get constant kickback. It's never going to work. It's like fetch. It's not going to happen, guys. Just please. Get over yourselves for once.
I always like a good Mean Girls reference.
Oh, anyway, so getting now what you wanted to talk about. Adam Rose and with Rosa and Dolph Ziggler with Lana. Adam Rose and Rosa both saying that nobody understands what true love is in America. Americans don't get it. And they're not saying I love you, they say I love us. Which, by the way, if I ever said I love us to this woman, she'd knock me off my chair. And basically, I will say this, and he keeps talking about how he can't wait to unveil his masterpiece. I did like the new style Adam Rose. Dolph Ziggler gets the win, though. Him and Lana kind of getting a little tongue-tied, so to speak. Lana letting her hair down a little bit, not fully out of the ponytail, but letting the hair down.
Ponytail, but she's never been on Raw without it being up in a bun.
Right,
ever.
And they show Rusev sulking backstage. Then sulking turns into violent rage as he starts throwing his crutches around, falls over in the meantime. Looked like he almost couldn't stop laughing for a second, to be honest. And next thing you know, Summer Rae comes in and gives Rusev his crutches back. Sam, what is going on?
I think Rusev might be lining himself with a Lana generic brand.
Oh,
is that a bad thing to say?
You said it, not me. I don't know. I'm not the one that's judging that.
I've never liked liked Summer Rae.
I understand that.
I mean, she might be a nice girl in real life. I'm
Ladies,
just saying the character
gentlemen, you guys
Summer Rae.
decide. Not that is not for me to judge. That is not for me
I'm
to
sure
judge.
Natalia will agree with me from Total Divas, apparently.
Like on South
Can't
Park.
stand her either.
I'm staying out of this one.
No, I just... I can see him going with, because she's blonde, and he wants Lana.
Well,
Probably wants to make Lana jealous, get another blonde, toss her in there. It won't last long.
The realistic part, guys, is this is probably Summer Rae's swan song. Not swan song, but it's make or break for her. When we always talk about pink slips coming, I know people don't like when we talk about it, but at the same time, we know that it's that time of year. Something's got to happen with Summer Rae soon, because she's another one that's been lingering with nothing to do, and I don't know. I don't know. Like, we were kind of talking about that tonight. I don't know if that's something, maybe this is a way to try and help get her over. I don't know.
Is she on Total Divas still, or did they take her off?
I don't know. I think they might have taken her off. I could be completely wrong, guys. I'm sure I'll get fact-checked on the webs. But
well, if she's taken off, I can completely see where you're coming with this whole pink slip thing. But, I mean, if she still is on Total Divas, then I don't really see them giving her pink slip anytime soon.
Fine.
But we'll see.
Then we have the Last Authority segment backstage, where Triple H is talking to J&J and Kane and pleading with them, listen, guys, and playing devil's advocate for both sides of the coin, guys, saying, listen, you guys have to understand the pressure that Seth is under, understand what it takes to be a champion. Kane, you should understand firsthand. And Sam, what did you get before we get to the final bit? More of the same?
Again, more of the same. It was just predictable.
It was this one. I think we kind of knew where everything was going towards the end of the show. So Seth Rollins comes out to end the show. Final spot of the show. We got Seth Rollins coming out. Said he's going to be the bigger man. He's going to apologize. He apologizes to J&J Security. Apologizes to Kane. Even saying that Kane is like a fine wine that keeps getting better with age. He said he'll always be the devil's favorite demon, and even said that he was his favorite superstar of all time. Fun fact about Seth Rollins: Kane is in fact his favorite superstar of all time.
I just think that it's funny that it was the McMahons forcing someone to apologize, because all I kept thinking was CM Punk making Vince McMahon apologize.
And you wonder why people...
That's all I kept thinking was CM Punk yelling apologize to people that entire segment. That's all I kept thinking of.
And she wonders why people yell at us for saying that we talk about CM Punk too much.
I can't help it. The man was fucking funny.
I'm trying. Let me see. So... as he's trying to make amends with the Authority, here comes Brock Lesnar. We knew this was going to happen, guys. Brock Lesnar basically is approaching the ring. The Authority leaves Seth Rollins alone in the ring in what looks like maybe he's out there by himself. Lesnar jumps up on the ring apron. Kane attacks him first. J&J Security then attack him. Jamie Noble takes a... I don't know if it's a bad... We'll talk about it in a minute, but I don't know if it was a bad bump or if it was just an awkward bump, but it didn't look good. Didn't see him the rest of the segment. We did see Jamie Noble later on, though, but this was just a bunch of back and forth between the Authority and Brock Lesnar. We saw Lesnar get chokeslammed a couple times. We saw him eat a pedigree. We saw him eat a flying knee off the top rope by Seth Rollins. Lesnar got his fair share, and he gave... 3 German suplexes to Seth Rollins. I was actually making little dashes because I was hoping he was going to get up into like the 10s. I just wanted to have this big long list of German suplexes. But so we've seen a bunch of German suplexes. Indy was Suplex City tonight. In the end, the Authority reigns supreme after wrapping Brock Lesnar's leg around the ring post, slamming it with a steel chair. Sam, did you like what happened with this?
Yes, simply because it's not where I thought it was going. Because I thought Brock Lesnar was just going to come out and take out Seth Rollins. I thought the rest of the Authority was just going to abandon him and he was going to get taken out by Seth Rollins. That's it. I really didn't see the Authority actually taking his apology that so soon. Like, maybe I thought that they were just going to let him out there to take a beating real quick and then, help him at the pay-per-view, help him in the actual match. But just let him still get his ass kicked until then.
I think the biggest factors in this are... I don't know how many things I'm going to count out here, but 1, let's not forget that he's still on a limited appearance type of contract. 2, he's a babyface. 3, Battleground is, 4 weeks away? 3-4 weeks away? And 4, he's going to appear at the event in Japan. So he's already not wasting, obviously, but using an appearance in Japan. We don't know.
Well, is that considered an appearance?
Absolutely. Is he working?
Well, yeah, but I thought it was a like Raw appearance or paper. Well, I guess it's technically a pay-per-view.
Is he working?
But is it an NXT pay-per-view? I mean, does
is
that
he
really
working?
count?
Is the man working?
Yeah, but I mean, does that count towards his appearances, or are they paying him like a separate thing for that appearance? Is my question. I don't know.
That I don't know.
Does it matter?
But yeah, I think it does because listen, he's a babyface. You have to write him off TV because Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be on every single Raw leading up to the night. Let's face that. He was not going to be on there. So how do you write him off TV? He's a babyface.
He just came back. You didn't really need to write him off.
Yes, because he's on limited appearance. Yes,
well, you don't need to write him off. He can just not be there.
But
Paul Heyman can be there and be like, well, he didn't need to be here.
But because he's a babyface, what better way to put him out is by injury.
Okay. But
okay, well,
he's not really injured. He's going to be back in like 2 weeks. It's like he's missing 1 week.
But he's going to be he's about 2 weeks, but he's going to be heavily taped up. And now doesn't this make that match with Kofi Kingston a little more interesting, especially knowing that all New Day is going to be there. What could have been he's going to destroy Kofi Kingston, which I still think it's going to be extremely amusing to watch him toss around all three members of the New Day, maybe at the same time. But now, who knows what happens? And I'm not saying Brock Lesnar is going to lose, but does he get injured even farther? Even further. Do you see what I mean? This is how you have to put doubt in people's minds. You have to take him off television. Now that he's babyface, it's not like you can just. You have to. It just makes sense. I've seen a lot of complaints online about it, but that's why you have to do it, guys, because he's not Brock Lesnar heel what he was before. He's Brock Lesnar the babyface now. This is how they put Steve Austin out before. This is how they put Shawn Michaels out before. This is how they put everybody out before.
Okay. I don't know. I don't really see this as them putting him out.
I get it because
it was just an ending.
But it's supposed to show that his knee's going to be banged up and he's not going to be 100%, and Seth Rollins could retain. And if he does beat Brock Lesnar and retains, it's because Brock Lesnar wasn't 100%.
Okay.
That's my whole point with all this.
Okay.
Because he's babyface now. That's why he had to get beat down like that, guys. A lot of people were like, well, why would you destroy him like that? Because he's a babyface.
No, I saw people saying that it wasn't realistic because Seth Rollins technically put him down with a pedigree, and Triple H doing it couldn't keep him down in his match with Brock Lesnar.
I think the bigger argument,
which I mean doesn't even make sense because it was four rung at one. With this whole thing, and with the Triple H thing, it was one-on-one, so it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, that was after like 2 choke slams, a knee off the top rope. His knee got busted up off the ring post with a chair. Yeah, I mean there was a lot of damage.
Don't yell at me. That's just what I was seeing on Twitter, and it just kind of made me think that people didn't realize it was like 4-on-1, where they just kept beating him up back and forth and back and forth and back and forth before they finally did that.
Yeah, I mean, but it just, for me, it was to beat home the point that, yeah, I mean, he's babyface now, and unfortunately, that's what happens when we like a guy too much, and they turn him babyface. He's not going to win all the time, because now he's the one that has to get attacked, so be careful what we wish for sometimes, guys.
I don't know, it's just hard to think of Brock Lesnar as babyface. It's hard. Because he's like Randy Orton to me. He's a gray area character. Where he's just always in the gray. He's never...
Oh, I get that, yeah.
He's never truly healed when he's never truly